Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include Jet SF writes to NHRC over extrajudicial killing of 3 Mar youths. National Testing Agency declares NEET 2024 results. IMD forecasts extremely heavy rainfalls over Goose, Konkan, Goa, coastal Karnataka and northeast states. News in details. The Jomi Students Federation General Headquarters writes to National Human Rights Commission appealing for justice against the unlawful extrajudicial killings of 3 Mar youths by Assam police. In its letters, the JSF stated that the case of the killing of the 3 youths from the Mar community is a case of inhuman, unlawful and extrajudicial killings and has left everyone deeply disturbed. On observation of the circumstances that surrounded the case, it is obvious that the 3 youths, based on widely circulated video footage, namely Lai Thavel Mar, Larem Sang Mar, and Lai Chung Nung Mar, were unlawfully apprehended and taken away and later on inhumanly murdered. It is obvious that their lifeless bodies were later clothed with kefter vests and military fatigue in an attempt to portray them as members of an armed group. The letter further said that the circumstances that surrounded the case, it is a fervent appeal that NHRC take immediate and resolute steps to expose the case for what it is, a case of extrajudicial killings, punish all those responsible, including uniformed servicemen, and thereby ensure that human rights, which have been severely violated in the northeast of India in recent months, be secured, the letter added. In a sterling turn of events, 9 individuals have been detained in connection with a widespread scam involving the issuance of counterfeit inner line permit ILP cards in Manipur. The Chief Minister addressed the press this evening, emphasizing the gravity of the situation and the immediate steps being taken to address it. The Chief Minister highlighted that the ILP system, a safeguard for the indigenous population of Manipur, has been compromised by unscrupulous individuals. The inner line permit system was a gift from the government of India to protect the indigenous people of Manipur. It is unfortunate that some people are misusing the system by issuing fake cards, he stated. Following the receipt of credible information, the state government conducted a series of raids across 5 locations in Manipur, resulting in the recovery of approximately 3,500 fraudulent ILP labor permits. These operations took place at a computer center in Namdulong, a mobile repair shop in Kakulong, a mobile shop in Thangal Bazaar, a computer center near the Babupara DC bungalow, and a reception counter at a laboratory center on Rims Road. The Chief Minister disclosed that the investigation into the issuance of these fake cards revealed the involvement of unauthorized personnel in handling sensitive matters, which is strictly the domain of district commissioners and labor commissioners. It has come to light that unauthorized personnel were also handling these sensitive matters, he remarked with deep concern. The discovery of the fake ILP cards has prompted suspicions of involvement from high-ranking officials and business figures, leading to the formation of a special investigation team to conduct a comprehensive probe. The Chief Minister underscored the importance of adhering to the best year of December 31, 1961 for determining ILP eligibility, noting that some officials had neglected this crucial criterion. In response to the uncovered fraud, alerts have been issued to all police stations to apprehend holders of the fake cards. The Chief Minister also made a public appeal for all perpetrators to surrender voluntarily, offering them a chance to avoid severe legal consequences. To prevent further breaches, the Chief Minister announced plans to strengthen the ILP implementation, process and enforce stricter measures across all ILP counters in Manipur. This decisive action aims to restore the integrity of the ILP system and ensure its proper functioning in safeguarding the rights of the indigenous population. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on Friday made a fresh claim about the Muslim community, saying it will become majority in the state by 2041. Substantiating his claims, the Assam CM said the Muslim population in the state is growing around 30% every decade, which is nearly double the Hindu population growth of 16%. Himanta said Muslims have now become 40% of Assam's population as per statistical sampling. By 2041, Assam will become a Muslim majority state. It's a reality and nobody can stop it, the Assam CM said, according to news agency PTI. Himanta also said that his government has taken steps to reduce population growth among the Muslim community. In a dig at Congress Kayon Rahul Gandhi, BJP's firebrand leader asked him to become the brand ambassadors of population control. Congress has the most important role in arresting the population growth of Muslims. If Rahul Gandhi becomes the brand ambassador of population control, it will be contained as the community only listens to him, Himanta said. A few days ago, Himanta, who is BJP's poll in charge in Jharkhand, stoked a massive controversy after he suggested that the state to treat Assam as a cautionary tale of how demographic change caused by infiltration from Bangladesh has become a matter of life and death for the Assam's indigenous population. Speaking in Jharkhand's capital Ranchi, Himanta said, in Assam, Muslim population is 40%. It was 12% in 1951. We lost districts due to infiltration and demographic change. It isn't a political issue for me. I keep fighting this day in and now. Sarma said on the sidelines of meetings to take stocks of the BJP's poll preparations. Rebutting Himanta's claim, Jharkhand Congress Chief Rajesh Thakur said Sarma must pose questions to PM Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah if he genuinely cares for the state and the country. If he or BJP is talking about infiltration, then it must first accept that the country's borders aren't safe under the Modi government, Thakur said. Also known as the second capital of Myanmar, the Singtu town had been captured and occupied by the People's Army (PDF) today, the 20th of July 2024. As per report received from a reliable source, Singtu town, also known as Myanmar's second capital, which is just 54 miles away from Mandalay, is now under the territory of the People's Defense Force (PDF). Today marks 2 weeks since the cross-firing occurred in Singtu town between the PDF and junta forces. During the crossfiring, the PDF had recovered many sophisticated weapons from the junta forces. Moreover, the PDF captured 113 junta army alive, and they carried out a search and cordon operations in all the junta camps in the town. On the other hand, soon after the PDF took over Singtu town, the junta forces retaliated by carrying out air raids over Singtu town and also fired from all corners of the town. The firing and bombing still continues by the time of this report. Hakka jail and junta police land in Hakka town in Chin State was under attack today morning at around 5 in the morning. An exchange of fire took place between Chin Land Council CNF and junta police early today morning between 5 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Report says that police land and Hakka jail was under attack by CNF and backup by the public after careful planning. As the attacking CNF forces and the public had prior planning, they were directly able to rescue the 65 inmates who were apprehended by the junta forces and put in Hakka jail. Reports also said that most of the 64 jailers who were rescued were political prisoners. The CNF army also recovered various weapons from Hakka police land. Mention may be made that Hakka town is the capital of Chin State and it is also the largest town in Myanmar, which is inhabited by the tribals. The National Testing Agency (NTA) has officially announced the results of the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test (NEET 2024). Candidates who participated in the examination can now assess their results by visiting the official NTA websites at exams.nta.sc.in. To view their results, candidates need to log in using their date of birth, registration number, and other required details. This announcement comes following a directive from the Supreme Court on July 18, which instructed the NTA to release the NEET UG results by July 20, 2024. The court mandated that while the marks scored by the candidates be published, their identities should remain confidential. Steps to check NEET UG 2024 results: 1. Visit the official NEET website at exams.nta.ac.in. 2. Click on the link for NEET 2024 center-wise results on the homepage. 3. Enter the required login details, including date of birth and registration number. 4. Submit the information. 5. The NEET 2024 result will appear on the screen. 6. Download the result. 7. Print a copy for future reference. NEET UG 2024 was held on May 5 across 4,750 centers with around 24 lakh candidates appearing for the examination. Initially, the results were announced on June 4, 2024. However, the declaration of results sparked controversy as 67 students scored a perfect 720 out of 720, leading to allegations of paper leaks and other irregularities. In response to this issue, a re-exam was conducted on June 23 for 1,563 candidates who had been awarded grace marks. The results of the retest were announced on June 30, 2024. The NEET 2024 examination was administered in 13 languages, including Assamese, Bengali, English, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, Marathi, Odia, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu. The India Meteorological Department (IMD) has forecast extremely heavy rainfall over Gujarat, Konkan, Goa, coastal Karnataka, and south interior Karnataka today. IMD added that heavy to very heavy rainfall conditions will prevail over parts of Kerala, Telangana, coastal Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Vidarbha, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh today, and over Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and coastal and south interior Karnataka during the next 4 days. Meanwhile, heavy rainfall conditions will be present over Jharkhand and Gangetic West Bengal today, and over Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, East Rajasthan, and North Interior Karnataka during the next 4 days. The weather agency added that similar conditions will also be present over Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and Meghalaya during the next 3 to 4 days. Others for Akashvani News, Delhi. In a major boost to its defense capabilities, India on Thursday approved a major plan to build military airfields in Lapsawip Island territories to keep an eye on growing Chinese activities in the region and expand its reach. The central government, at a high-level meeting held on Thursday, cleared the proposals, defense sources told ANI. The proposal from the three services, led by the Department of Military Affairs, is to build a new airbase in Minicoy Island and extend the existing airfield on Agatti Island in the Arabian Sea on western side of India, they said. The dual-purpose airfields, which could be used by commercial airlines, would be capable of deploying and operating all types of fighter and transport aircraft, along with long-range drones, and would give an edge to the Indian forces in the region. The move has come at a time when the Chinese Navy has been expanding its presence in the Indian Ocean region and collaborating closely with the Pakistan Navy in the region. The Indian Air Force would be the lead in the project that would see a military conclave coming up there, which would be used by all three defense forces and the Indian Coast Guard. The Indian Coast Guard was the first force under the Defense Ministry to suggest the development of an airstrip in the Minicoy Islands. As per the present proposal, the Indian Air Force would be in the lead to run the operations from Minicoy. The airport at Minicoy would also give the defense forces the capability to extend their area of surveillance in the Arabian Sea. The airport at Minicoy would also provide a boost to tourism in the region, as has been planned by the government. The Minicoy Islands are just around 50 miles from the Maldives. About 50 Indian nationals have got in touch with the government, asking for its help to be discharged from the Russian military, India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson said on Friday. Earlier this month, Russia had promised to discharge the Indians forcibly induced to join its arm in the war against Ukraine after Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised the issue with Russian President Vladimir Putin during his July 8-9 visit to Moscow. Days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised the issue of India's fighting in the Russian army against Ukraine during his visit to Russia, a man from Punjab said on Friday his hopes to return home had been dashed as he has been asked to return to the front line. Gagandeep Singh from Punjab's Gurdaspur is among the many men from India who have claimed that they were inducted into the Russian army against their will and forced to fight. Though Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to the release of Indian nationals who wish to return to India following discussions with PM Modi, Gagandeep Singh said his commander denied getting any orders from the government for their release. After PM Modi went back, now the whole unit is going to the front line, and I have also been told to join the unit. I request the Indian government to talk to Russia and arrange our visit back to India, he said from a camp where he is recovering from a knee injury. Singh could talk to the Indian Express as he was sent back from the front line due to the injury, and he had access to internet while in the camp. Former Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti on Friday sought the intervention of Union External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaisankar to ensure safety of Kashmiri students stuck in protests hit Bangladesh. Bangladesh is witnessing massive protests against the quota system that has led to suspension to the internet services across the country amid deaths of dozens of people. As protests and turmoil grip Bangladesh, I urge Dr. S. Jaisankar to urgently intervene and ensure safety of thousands of Kashmiri students in Bangladesh. Internet services being suspended has only added to the distress of their parents. Immediate steps must be taken to bring them back home, Mufti wrote on X. Thousands of Kashmir-based students are pursuing medical degrees in colleges in Bangladesh, and parents have been unable to contact them. My daughter is pursuing a medical course in one of the medical colleges of Dhaka. For 2 days, I have been unable to contact her due to the suspension of the internet service. When I made the last call to her on Wednesday night, she was safe, but all the students were very scared as the protests were spreading to other regions of Bangladesh, said Abdul Qayyum, a resident of Sopore. Another parent, Jahur Ahmad, said, "So far everyone is safe. We pray for restoration of peace in that country. In case situation worsens, we hope the government of India will evacuate them safely." Meanwhile, the Jammu and Kashmir Students Association has also written to the Union Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Jaisankar, urging him to assist in the relocation and ensure the safety of thousands of Indian students, including thousands of students from Kashmir who are currently studying in various universities and colleges across Bangladesh amidst escalating violence and unrest. In a statement issued by the National Convener of Association, Nasir Hami expressed deep concern over the severe conditions faced by Indian students following the violent protests in Bangladesh. The protests erupted after the Bangladesh High Court's decision to reinstate a 30% government job quota for the descendants of those who participated in the 1971 War of Independence, leading to widespread chaos, multiple casualties and injuries. He expressed concern over the safety and well-being of Indian students, particularly those from Kashmir, who have been living in constant fear and anxiety. We had received numerous distress calls from students studying in various colleges and universities, pleading for immediate relocation to safer environments. The ongoing violence has significantly disrupted the students' academic activities and posed serious threats to their lives. Parents have also expressed deep worry about their children's safety due to the violence and unrest, he added. Thousands of people rallied on Friday against a planned operation by the Pakistan military to root out militants along the Afghan border, with at least one protester killed when gunfire broke out, officials and witnesses said. More than 10,000 people waving white flags and calling for peace gathered for the rally in Banu, 40 kilometers from Afghanistan, where a suicide bomber on Monday rammed an explosive-packed vehicle into an army enclave, killing 8 Pakistani troops. Military operations have been ongoing for 20 years, yet peace has not been established, protester Jamaluddin Wazir told AFP. Military operations can never be a substitute for peace. Pakistan's government announced earlier this year, without giving details, that the military would launch a new campaign to counter violence in areas along the border with Afghanistan, which has surged following the Taliban government's return to power. Friday's protests turned violent when crowds reached the walls of an army facility and gunfire broke out, witnesses and officials reported. They chanted slogans against the army, and some started throwing stones at the facility's wall. This led to firing in the air by the military, causing a stampede, an intelligence official in the nearby city of Peshawar told AFP on condition of anonymity. At least one protester died, according to Paktun Yar, the provincial minister for public health, who was a speaker at the protest. He accused the military of opening fire on the protesters. During the rally, shots were fired directly at me and the people standing near me. This wasn't just firing in the air, it was intended to kill us, Yar told AFP. The shooting was carried out by those who want to destroy our peace. They want to spill the blood of our people, but the community is no longer willing to tolerate this. For years, the Pakistan Taliban, a separate group for the Afghan Taliban but with a similar ideology, waged a bloody campaign in the area, killing thousands of civilians and taking control of parts of the border region, before being pushed back by a military campaign that began in 2014. The clearance operation displaced hundreds of thousands of people and destroyed countless homes and businesses, sparking a local backlash calling for the rights of ethnic Pashtuns to be protected. But protests against the powerful military, which analysts say holds large sway over the government and foreign policy, are rare and often brought down quickly. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who waged a campaign of defiance against army chief after being ousted from power, is currently in jail on charges of inciting protests against the military. His party has faced a major crackdown, with supporters and leaders rounded up last year for staging an unprecedented day of rallies against the military, accusing it of interfering in politics. Violence has surged along the border since the Taliban returned to power in Afghanistan in 2021, with Islamabad accusing Kabul of failing to root out groups taking shelter of Afghan soil while preparing assaults on Pakistan. The Taliban government insists it will not allow foreign militant outfits to operate from Afghanistan, but Islamabad-Kabul relations have soured over the issue. U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump said Friday he had spoken by telephone with Ukraine leader Volodymyr Zelensky and pledged to end the European country's war with Russia. I appreciate President Zelensky for reaching out because I, as your next president of the United States, will bring peace to the war and end the war that has caused so many lives and devastated countless innocent families, Trump said in a post on his Truth Social platform. Both sides will be able to come together and negotiate a deal that ends the violence and paves a path forward to prosperity. The United States has provided tens of billions of dollars in military assistance for Kyiv since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, though a Trump victory in the November election would put Washington's continued support into question. Zelensky confirmed the call, during which he congratulated Trump on formally becoming the Republican Party's presidential nominee, as well as wishing the 78-year-old well after an attempt on his life a week ago. We agreed with President Trump to discuss at a personal meeting what steps can make peace fair and truly lasting, Zelensky said in a post on X. I noted the vital bipartisan and bicameral American support for protecting our nation's freedom and independence. Trump has repeatedly claimed he would end the war very quickly without offering details as to how. Last week, the ex-president hosted at his Florida estate Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who met with Russian President Vladimir Putin earlier this month. Trump's frequent praise for Putin and reluctance to outright criticize the Russian invasion have stirred concerns among Ukraine's elites that he would force the countries into accepting partial defeat. He has also repeatedly suggested backing away from NATO, even undermining the alliance's collective defense guarantee by saying he would encourage Russia to attack any members not who had not met their financial obligations. Trump's running mate J.D. Vance leads the isolationist wing of congressional Republicans, who argues the United States should drop aid to Ukraine. Vance was one of the fierce opponents of the approval of $61 billion in new military aid for Ukraine, which was stalled by Republican lawmakers for months earlier this year, a time in which Russia made battlefield gains. Trump told the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee on Thursday that he would bring an end to raging international crisis, saying he would stop wars with a telephone call. "I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine," Trump said without elaborating on how. Zelensky said earlier this week that he and Trump would work together if the Republican won the White House. "I am not worried about this," he told a news conference. Zelensky declined to say whether he was worried about U.S. President Joe Biden, who has been facing calls to drop his re-election campaign following a disastrous debate, performance and questions over his health and mental acuity. The Sheikh Hasina-led government in Bangladesh led Friday imposed a nationwide curfew across the country and ordered the deployment of military forces to maintain order following days of deadly clashes over the allocation of government jobs. News agency AFP reported that at least 105 people have been killed in the clashes so far across the country. Over 1,500 have been injured. The curfew in Bangladesh was announced by Obaidul Qadir, the General Secretary for the ruling Awami League Party, who said it was being done to help the civilian administration keep order. The decision comes hours after police and security officials fired bullets and lobbed tear gas on protesters and banned all gatherings in the capital Dhaka on Friday. The protesters, mostly students, have been holding protests in Dhaka and other cities against the system of reservation in public sector jobs, including that for the relatives of war heroes who fought for the country's independence from Pakistan in 1971. They argue the system is discriminatory and benefits supporters of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, whose Awami League Party led the independence movement, and they want it replaced with a merit-based system. However, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has defended the quota system, saying that veterans deserve the highest respect for their contributions to the war, regardless of their political affiliation. The protest took an ugly turn on Thursday after demonstrators set fire to the country's state broadcaster. The violence prompted authorities to shut the metro rail inside the capital alongside the railway services to and from Dhaka. The government also ordered the shutdown of mobile internet networks across several parts of the country. Schools and universities are shut indefinitely. On Friday, websites of several Bangladesh newspapers faced trouble and did not update and were also inactive on social media, according to Reuters. News television channels and state broadcaster BTV went off the air, although entertainment channels were normal. Some of them displayed messages blaming technical problems and promising to resume programming soon. The official websites of the central bank, the Prime Minister's office, and the police also appeared to have been hacked by a group of branding itself the Resistance. According to Reuters, Operation Handang Stop Killing Students read messages splashed on the sites, adding in crimson letters, "It's not a protest anymore, it's a war now." Student protesters also stormed a jail in the Narsingdi district and freed the inmates before setting the facility on fire. "I don't know the number of inmates freed, but it would be in the hundreds," a police officer told AFP on condition of anonymity. Meanwhile, India on Friday declined to comment on violent protests in Bangladesh, but said around 15,000 Indian nationals living in the neighboring country were all safe and sound. At least 40 migrants have died after a boat they were traveling in caught fire off the north coast of Haiti, a UN agency said Friday, with police saying the explosion was sparked by a voodoo ritual gone wrong. The UN's International Organization for Migration reported that the Haitian Coast Guard rescued 41 survivors, 11 of whom were hospitalized, including some for burns. But at least 40 migrants have died and several others were injured, the IOM said. The fire began when a passenger lit a candle to start a voodoo ritual, police spokesperson Arnold Jean said. Survivors told local media that the voodoo ceremony was meant to bring luck and help the boat avoid being intercepted by the Coast Guard. This devastating event highlights the risk faced by children, women and men migrating through irregular routes, said Grigory Goodstein, IOM's chief of mission in the country. The boat carrying more than 80 people had left the port of Labadi on Wednesday en route to the Turks and Caicos Islands, a 150-mile to 40-kilometer journey, the IOM reported, citing Haiti's National Office for Migration. The search continues with the aim of finding other survivors, said Jean, adding that an investigation had been opened to identify and dismantle the networks that organized these clandestine voyages. Migration from the poorest country in the Americas has been surging for months as thousands of people flee spite and violence from criminal gangs that now control wide swaths of territory. The gangs have attacked prisons, destroyed dozens of police stations, and invaded the main airport, with the government's hold over the country's destinies. Haiti's socio-economic situation is in agony, Goodstein said. The extreme violence over the past months has also brought Haitians to resort to desperate measures even more. Hundreds of police officers from Kenya have been deployed in Haiti's capital port, Au-Prince, part of an international effort to bring stability to a country riven by political, social, and economic chaos. Newly named Prime Minister Gary Conille, a former UN official, has welcomed the Kenyan contingent and vowed to launch a police operation against the gangs. Criminal groups control 80% of the capital city, with residents saying they have faced the threat of murder, rape, and kidnapping for ransom. As the pace of immigration grows, Haitian Coast Guard units in the north have observed an increasing number of departures by boat, the IOM said. Countries including the United States, the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and Jamaica say they have intercepted a growing number of boats originating from Haiti. More than 86,000 migrants have been forcibly returned to Haiti by neighboring countries this year, according to the IOM. The country currently has nearly 600,000 internally displaced persons, according to UN figures, a 60% increase since March. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.